Where do we get our rights? Who grants them to us? Some claim we get our rights from God. Others believe we get our rights from the government. Which is correct? The idea of natural rights holds that all human beings, simply by existing, have certain rights. Natural rights are absolute and universal. No one can legitimately take them away from innocent people, including any government or authority. While different cultures and eras of human history may consider various rights inherent, three commonly listed include life, liberty, and property. Philosophers have believed they come from a higher power like nature or God. Natural rights are part of our human identity, as ingrained as our DNA. While ancient Greek philosophers did not explicitly discuss natural rights, some, such as Plato, Aristotle, and Socrates before them, debated the ideals of justice and equality, which lie at the heart of natural rights. Much of the writing and discussion occurred during the Enlightenment through John Locke, Thomas Hobbes, and Jean-Jacques Rousseau. Most accept John Locke as the first philosopher to propose a comprehensive natural rights theory. In two treatises of government, he argued that everyone has natural rights to life, liberty, and property. He believed no proper or legitimate government could take away these rights. Rousseau placed greater faith in humans existing in a natural state, but recognized that through abusing others to elevate oneself, we end up infringing on natural rights. He too believed a political system helped protect the rights of the people. Hobbes held a more pessimistic view, favoring a more authoritarian government due to his distrust of people. Even in that more restricted existence, Hobbes believed in limited rights that everyone possessed, such as preservation. Enlightenment philosophers, including many English thinkers like John Locke, believed that God or nature bestowed these rights on human beings. The Founding Fathers, influenced by the Enlightenment, embraced this idea. The Declaration of Independence references God in a few places, most notably in the famous phrase, "We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights." The passage proclaims that human beings have specific rights not granted by an earthly authority, but we receive them from a higher power. Referencing God reinforces the idea that governments, tyrants, or others cannot take away rights. So what did the Founding Fathers believe? While some colonial governments had religious foundations and support for churches, that official relationship faded. Minister Roger Williams helped found Rhode Island but lamented that government involvement in the church created corruption. The Founding Fathers varied in religion, as did many of the colonists. Most would identify as Christian. Thomas Paine openly criticized religion. Deism, the belief in a supreme being that created the universe but restrained himself from the affairs of humans, influenced some of the founders. Many affiliated with different Christian churches, and beliefs changed over time. As Enlightenment thought goes, some expressed skepticism and a need to concentrate on the most important spiritual matters. Thomas Jefferson prepared an edition of the Gospel that removed the divine nature of Jesus to focus on Christian teachings instead. The Constitution does not mention God and forbids religious tests to become government officials in Article 6. According to the First Amendment, Congress cannot establish a church or prohibit the free exercise of religion. Jefferson later wrote that the Bill of Rights had established a wall of separation between the church and state, and he believed religious matters existed in the realm of the individual. While most of the founders believed in God and he bestowed rights on all people, the point is that we all have them. No matter an individual's religious leaning, we all have rights. So why do governments exist if we have rights upon birth? The Continental Congress adopted the Declaration of Independence on July 4, 1776. The Declaration asserts that the government's objective is to secure these rights and that people must reform or overthrow any government that fails to protect them. Power ultimately resides with the people. This social contract theory differs from other reasoning behind the creation of government, such as extensions of family structure, successful military campaigns, or cultural aspects like the blessing of a deity in what some call the divine right of kings. Social contract theory places the ultimate decision-making in the hands of the people. The ancient Greek philosopher Plato hinted at the social contract theory. In his famous work, The Republic, Plato discusses the idea of a social contract between the citizens and the state. He argued that the government is responsible for protecting its people. In return, citizens must obey its laws and support the state. The roots of social contract theory and natural rights can be traced back to ancient Greece, but the most significant development happened during the Enlightenment. Philosophers, including Locke, proposed that individuals voluntarily give up some of their freedoms in exchange for protection and security provided by the government. This idea of a social contract between the people and their government has influenced political and legal theories ever since, including the Declaration of Independence and the United States Constitution. The founders included the purpose of government in the Declaration of Independence by writing that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. that whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it, and to institute new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. Experts point to the preamble of the U.S. Constitution as an example of social contract theory. We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. The founders wrote the first 10 amendments not to grant rights but to prevent the government from taking them away. The Fifth Amendment declares the government cannot simply cancel rights, nor shall any person be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law. The Ninth Amendment recognizes that rights exist beyond those mentioned in the Constitution. The enumeration in the Constitution of certain rights shall not be construed to deny or disparage others retained by the people. The idea of natural rights and social contract theory both recognize the unique nature of individual human beings. All of us have rights and self-worth, and the government exists, first and foremost, as a means of protection. The government is subservient to the people.